Hey, Paul, what did you like about your start for your hockey club, especially in that first period?
Yeah, we felt that tonight we had an opportunity to have our best night going in, just from a legs point of view. It's early in the season, so the back-to-back kind of felt that even in the morning skate, the rust had come off. And so we moved as 5 guys very well. Lots of close puck support, lots of quickness. But it was a well-managed game, really well-played game by our team.
And we'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Paul, some thoughts on Ville Heinola's first game of the season?
Really pleased with it. He is, I'd seen where he felt that he was a little stronger, a little faster. He's a little quicker this year. There's not as much new for him, having kind of run through our systems through a training camp and playing 10 games. But boy, he makes a lot of little tiny inside plays to forwards. Our forwards did a real nice job of supporting him. But at the same time, he made a lot of smart decisions with the puck, and he's got a skill, right? That passing skill that he has is special. And he then didn't have to rely on physicality down low because we were out of the zone. So he was really strong tonight.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Greg. Paul, you've talked in wins in the past about every guy getting a piece of it. This felt like one of those games where even the guys that aren't on the score sheet, guy like Paul Stastny has all kinds of chances tonight. Is this one that everybody can kind of feel like they played a role in?
Yeah, they all, you know what, and some of that shift length, they got on and off the ice together. And when we lost Nate Thompson there, it was a little more ice time to be spread around with guys. So while we were maybe disjointed in our lines in terms of, how we started the game, very, very consistent in the style of play. So that would be the piece of the game that I like the most, that all 4 lines, all the D pairs had almost a single mindset of how they were going to play, and everybody looked good doing it.
We'll go next to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Ken.
Well, what are your early thoughts on Adam Lowry and his play? Not just the goals, but for him to be able to get a payoff after the way he's played the last few nights for your group.
Yeah, you know what? And he's the guy who gets different wingers all the time. But, there's a guy that scored 15 in this league. We think it's there. We think and it's the kind of the face-off goal the other night when he goes to the net and gets a tip on it. Big man driving the net. But you know what? Some of it's confidence and some of it's rhythm, right? With our injuries, he's getting some power play time. He's getting the PK time, and he's playing a big minute game for us. So he's in that rhythm, right? Feels good. But he's such a force out there going to the net that if we can get some pucks through and get him to the goalie's pads, he's going to have a big year.
We'll go next to Brian Munns from TSN 1290. Go ahead, Munns.
Paul, can you just speak to a little bit about Josh Morrissey's game? Obviously, it was talked about on the road trip where he's played with some younger defensemen, and again here tonight was over 24 minutes, played the other side. Just overall what you saw from him.
Josh is back, like we felt, I don't want to call it an off year last year, but it wasn't, I don't think he was overly pleased with his game, and he's back. But he's different now, right? So he's doing all the things. He's playing a hard gap game. He's got a great stick. He's knocking a lot of plays down, but he's also now, he's touching the puck on the power play. So he's getting a different piece of the game too. So he's developing into that all-around defenseman that we had hoped when we drafted him, and certainly saw in those shutdown years. But there's more to his game now than there's ever been.
Go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Hi, Paul. In terms of breakouts and just getting the puck out of there, what's the difference on a night when it looks so clean as it did today?
Well, you got enough people to put the puck to. We were disjointed is a kind word in Toronto. We had left our defense alone. We made it so difficult for our defense. And in fairness to our team, Toronto's got a really different forechecking style because of the players that they have than Ottawa. Ottawa is a big physical team. They're trying to finish every check, so you got to move fast and move the puck quickly. But we had lots of support there, lots of conversation on the ice, lots of communication, guys calling for pucks, and then we got off to a pretty good run, of going from our end to their end.
Go next to Paul Friesen from The Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
The scrum at the end, Paul, just wondering if that's a product of the score or a sign of things heating up in this mini series.
Yeah, I think that's where it's going at some point. The score has something to do with it. You know, they've actually got a bunch of veteran guys that kind of maybe remember a bit of an older school style when you get beat 4-0 at home. And the other team was pretty good. You know, you're sending a message for that next game, and that's fine. You know, that it wasn't old school like 10 guys with their gloves off, but it was a bit of a scrum and some name calling, and it'll fire it up for next game.
It's time for a couple more. We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Paul. Your forwards were talking about how the defense had really done a good job of allowing them to exit the zone and play with speed. I also thought they were doing a really good job of denying Ottawa their zone exits. Why was that working so well tonight?
The whole all of that goes together, right? It's all one idea. There are 5 guys very close together. So on our breakouts, we're not stretching and leaving our defense alone. And we're standing and holding an offensive blue line. It's because our defense have enough support to do that. They know that if something bad happens and a puck knuckles over their stick at the blue line, we've got a forward there. So that connection on the ice, as we say, we want to play a connected game. We were very connected out there at night. And even then, when things went bad and a puck bobbled or a play was missed, there wasn't as much room for them to go. You look at that Toronto game, when we turned a puck over or just a bad break, we were so far away from each other, we couldn't survive it, right? They arced in with them. They got a lot of speed and skill there in Toronto. So that Toronto game had a pretty big impact on our last 2 games.
And final question to Mike McIntyre from the Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, just a quick one, Paul, on Nate Thompson. We didn't see on the TV what happened, if it was a specific play or something. Can you give any update on?
Lower body day-to-day, I don't know how severe. I don't think it is, because he went in, got it looked at, came back out, didn't love it. So we just were cautious with it. There was, as they say, there was no mechanism of injury there. He didn't take a hit. It just, something tightened up on it and he couldn't get it to get loose.